Who wins, KSI or Hamzat Chimayev? Maybe we'll find out on today's episode of the Happy Punch News. Hello and welcome back to the Happy Punch News with your host, Donna Corby. Did you miss me? I know it was a bit weird. We had another guy hosting it last week. I don't know what happened there, to be honest with you, but don't worry, I'm back. I'm going to be doing the show more regularly than ever. I'm fully with you all, and I've got so much news to talk about. So let's get right into the news, as my old boss would say, and let's talk about the UFC, and particularly Ian Machado Garry and Sean Strickland. Ian Machado Garry has hit back once again at the UFC middleweight champion after his appearance on the FEUD podcast. We all saw the comment that Ian made on Instagram under the clip of Sean Strickland crying on FEUD's podcast about his history of abuse in the past with his family. And Ian has doubled down on his take, saying this on the MMA Hour today.
I'm going to get my hands on. And in an ideal world, towards the end of the year, I don't think Sean Strickland's going to be the world champion anymore. And I believe there's absolutely an opportunity for me to step up to middleweight and give him a hiding. And maybe I'll beat him so bad that he'll forget all that trauma from his childhood and he can thank me.
Ian is getting it from all angles. He was supposed to fight at UFC 296 in December. It didn't happen. He was sick with pneumonia, and unfortunately he was unable to compete against Vicente Luque for 298 in California. He's going to fight Jeff Neal. The rescheduling of their August bout that was cancelled when he fought Neil Magny instead. Ian and his wife Layla have both been receiving so much abuse over her book, How to Be a Wag, and all this social media stuff. People are calling him a cook, and they're saying all this horrible stuff about her, and she's older than him, and that's another problem. It's essentially, imagine the Logan Paul, Nina Agdal, Dylan Dennis type situation, just for a more boring. The MMA guru is involved, who maybe is fighting on Misfits. Ian was threatening lawsuits, then Ian was going to respond at the press conference. It's such a long, boring story, but essentially, Ian has been getting so much abuse, and Sean Strickland is one of the ringleaders, basically telling him he needs to get rid of Layla. He sent this video to Ian, which started off all the drama.
Guys, I never talk about anybody's spouses, but it ain't right. It ain't right. I gotta talk about it. Ian Garry, I remember when I met you, dude. It was in New York. You were this fine-ass girl. She had the little nipple coverings. We all fucking seen it, right? Everybody fucking seen it. But I remember thinking to myself, there ain't something right about that girl. There's something about that woman that ain't right. The way she walked, the way she looked, the way she talked. I knew it. Now I'm finding out you're 26. She's fucking 40. The ex-husband lives with you. You took the last name. Because she wrote a book on how to be a wag. I didn't know what a wag was until now, dude. This shit ain't right, dude. She's a succubus. You gotta run away, bro. Hot girls are a dime a dozen. We'll get you one. We'll get you ring girls. We'll get you two at the same time, bro. You gotta pull the ripcord, man. It ain't f***ing right, my friend. You gotta pull that f***ing ripcord. I'm here for you. The Making News here for you. Do the right things, Ian Garry. And pull that fucking ripcord.
And as we saw on the Ara Helwani show, Ian has gone back in on Sean Strickland, which is not going down well with fans on social media. What do you think? Should Ian and Sean Strickland fight? Because that's what he wants at the end of next year, even if Sean isn't still the world champion. And while we're talking about the UFC, Jon Jones has given a huge update on his injury and when he will be back defending his UFC heavyweight championship. So he was supposed to fight Stipe Miocic in New York at UFC 295 last November. He had to pull out because of a torn pec, but he's got that healed, and while he's out injured, he's decided to have some bone spurs shaved down on his elbow, and now Jon Jones is teasing the comeback. It's going to take him a few months. Let's hear from Jon himself with the latest on his injury.
Back out here in California with Dr. Alan Trash. This time, instead of doing a pec repair, we are working on my left elbow. I'm actually about 1 hour off the table. We had a 2-hour surgery, shaving down some bone spurs. Good news is, that it's about a 10-week heal process, and I'm out for months anyways because of this pec surgery. So I just thought I'd kill two birds and get this elbow taken care of once and for all. I appreciate all the support. Your boy's back in a sling, back on this recovery journey, still on this recovery journey. Sometimes you have to take a small step back in order to move forward, and I'm patient. And I appreciate you guys' support, your love, your positive energy, and I will be back.
Of course, the heavyweight landscape is totally different now than it was before Jon was injured. Tom Aspinall is the interim champion. Stipe Miocic is another year older. Is he still going to fight Stipe? That's what Dana White seems to want. But Tom Aspinall's the interim champion. The interim champion fights the champion. They've got to do that fight. They've got to do Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones when Jon is healthy. And I personally think at this point, Aspinall's done enough. It's a bigger fight than Jon versus Stipe. Who's trying to watch Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic in his 40s? And let's get into the title of this video. KSI and Hamzat Chimayev, are they fighting? Well, this one fan uploaded a video on TikTok of him asking Hamzat, would he win in a fight against KSI?
Yo, Khamzat, do you think you could beat KSI in a fight?
What is this, brother?
Who's KSI?
So obviously, Chimaev doesn't know who KSI is, and just that alone, he wasn't even disrespectful, but just that alone has made fans on social media so upset. Obviously, I know better than anybody, the KSI community can be brutal, and there's one guy who's more brutal than anyone, the fan, who is raging over this KSI and Hamzat Chimaev thing. Let's roll the clip.
This is a message to Hamzat Chimayev. First of all, you unknown, disrespectful rat. Yeah, you clown. Don't disrespect KSI and say you don't know who he is. Ask yourself this. Who done the most pay-per-view sales in boxing last year? 1.3 million pay-per-views KSI done versus Tommy Fury. So don't you dare disrespect KSI. Okay, no one cares about MMA. Boxing, mother. Listen, all KSI needs is boxing, okay? Even in a street fight, I don't care. Street fight, boxing, anything. KSI would destroy you, and you need to keep your name out of his mouth. You clown.
So will KSI and Hamzat Chimaev fight? And who wins? I don't have the answer for you. Does anyone want to see it? I know people love Chimaev. They love KSI. All right, I'm going to call up Mount Sailor tonight and make sure that he starts talking to Dana White about making that fight happen. In our final UFC story of the day, Conor McGregor is on the comeback trail, and I can tell you personally, from my experience, he was back training in Dublin tonight. He was doing jiu-jitsu training with his coach, John Kavanagh. He's been out in Dubai for a while with his family. He was out in Saudi. You don't need to see that Cristiano Ronaldo clip again. You don't even need me to mention it anymore. But he is fighting Michael Chandler June 29th, and he is back in training in Dublin, in his hometown. And actually, John Kavanagh was just talking about it on Instagram Live today. Let's hear what John Kavanagh had to say.
I just got the hell beaten out of me by Conor. He's back in Ireland. He jumped into a jiu-jitsu session this evening.
And we had so much happening in the boxing world over the weekend. We had O'Hara Davies fight, which was hysterical. We had all sorts going on. But what everybody is talking about is Ryan Garcia and this really weird turn of events where his wife gave birth, and then within an hour, he was announcing their divorce on social media. Now, he has since deleted this post, but he did share the following message on Instagram. As I step into a new chapter in my life, it's with a heavy heart to share that Drea and I have decided to divorce. While this decision marks the end of our marriage, it's important to emphasize that our relationship as co-parents remains our top priority. Throughout our years together, Drea has been an incredible partner and an even more extraordinary mother to our two children. I'm deeply grateful for the years we shared and for her unwavering commitment to our family. As we move forward, my focus remains on the health and well-being of our two beautiful kids. They are and always will be my first priority. I'm fully committed to working together with Drea to make sure our children's needs and best interests always guide our path forward. I believe our mutual devotion to our children is rock solid, and I trust that together we will continue to provide them with the love, support, and stability that they deserve. In this time of transition, we kindly ask for respect and understanding for our family's privacy. We are thankful for the support of those who stood by us over the years. Within an hour of the birth of his son, even in his career, he's making all these flip-flops. One day, he's going to fight Rolly Romero for the title. The next day, he's fighting Devin Haney. Oh, wait, no, actually, he's going to fight Romero again. I don't know what's going on. He's hanging out with Floyd Mayweather. The less said about his relationship with his wives, the better. But hopefully, he gets this Rolly fight over the line, and we get to see him fight Devin Haney later this year for the super lightweight world title. This isn't really influencer boxing news. It's more just kind of an editorial thing, this next story. What is happening with the Misfits 12 main event? Misfits is happening in Leeds, January 20th at the First Direct Arena, but we haven't got a main event. HS Tiki Taki was pulled off of the card. For whatever reason, there hasn't really been an official statement about his being pulled off the card. Misfits haven't announced it per se, but I think we all kind of know the kind of stuff that got him kicked off of that card. And he seems to be teasing that his old pal Ed Matthews is going to step in, but against who?
You don't know what's coming in it. I want you man to guess in the chat right now by the way that Matty's moving. What's coming? Because you man know my fight ain't on anymore, innit? But that don't mean
Right, now
that, you know what I mean?
Basically giving it away.
No, don't
bro.
talk. Don't talk too much.
I mean, I know who he should fight. It's our guy, Ben Williams. Surely You just get Ben off the undercard, get another fight for Fez Batista, who Ben is fighting, get Ben the fight with Ed Matthews. But apparently Ed's not interested. Ben has said Ed was never interested in that fight. He was asked. Doesn't seem like he wants to do it. Is he scared? I mean, if I were in the position that Ed was in after your call, I'd want to redeem myself in the ring, but whatever. There's a report online that he was going to fight Pineda. I'm not so sure on that one. I've heard from other sources that that was maybe not on the horizon. But Ed Matthews, it appears, is the main event of Misfits 12. But the question is, who's he fighting? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Sorry about whatever happened last week. I will be back very shortly with another Happy Punch News episode, as well as our face-off between Fez Batista and Ben Williams very soon. I will see you all shortly. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.